Well, I got to turn my ad blocker back on. I just noticed it. But anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand. Now, I just find it ridiculous when anybody says, like, oh, well, people were right about Trump. Like, oh, well, it turns out that they were right about him because we've been dealing with him for over a decade and just on the political stage. But outside of that, we've been dealing with Donald Trump for decades and decades since the 70s, since long before I was born. I was born in 92. Donald Trump was a nationally known figure and known as a buffoon, known as a con artist. That this is not new information. And Nick Fuentes has done this before too. Like when Donald Trump accidentally made that Freudian slip where he said he lost the 2020 election. Nick Fuentes was like, really? You're gonna do that? Well, then what was January 6th all about? You're gonna say that to your supporters? And now he's willing to admit that Donald Trump is a demagogue. But again, since when is this new? Donald Trump's an idiot who knows nothing. He knows about 30 words that he just mixes and mashes around. Everything's a superlative. Everything's the best or the worst, like nobody's ever seen before. Everything's like that with Donald Trump. So let's see what Nick Fuentes has to say, such that he's just now realizing that Donald Trump is just a con artist. All right, here we go. We're going to go down. I watched the video earlier now. Oh, this what they going to do? Hold on. Let me refresh this screen real quick because I watched the video on on my phone. So I know that this thing exists unless they hating. Oh, they gonna hate on the video like that. That's what they gonna do. Oh, y'all lame. Lame. Okay, here we go. My bad, y'all.
As much as I hate to admit it, liberals were right fundamentally about Trump. Whether he has good intentions or bad intentions, whether he means well or not, some people blame his advisors. Some people blame people around him. Whatever you think about his culpability, he is in effect, okay? Maybe not consciously or intentionally, but in effect, what he is a demagogue. What he is a populist demagogue. And directionally, what liberals said about him, which is that he was stirring up the rubes, animating the rubes with nativist rhetoric and ginning up resentment against the system to empower himself and the people around him, and then brought the swamp closer to the periphery in his first and second administration, willing to say and do anything. Yeah, that all kind of turned out to be true. Yeah, that basically turned out to be true.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. When was that not true? What about when he was running his Trump University scam, to which he ended up having to pay $25 million in settlement for? What about the hundreds of construction workers he didn't pay, the businesses that he bankrupt because he didn't pay them when he was building things in Atlantic City? What about all of that? What about all the municipalities that his campaign has yet to pay while he was running for president? What about that? What about his first administration, where he told people to inject bleach into themselves, where he talked all this mess about ending the war in Afghanistan, and Joe Biden had to do that? He increased drone strikes by 400%. What happened to all that? Where was that? It's just the racism, because it's not as if Nick Fuentes, who obviously is a staunch racist, that's why he supports Donald Trump more than anything, because Trump represents a path forward to Nick's dream of a all white ethno state. But it's painfully obvious that Donald Trump is nothing but a demagogue, because keep in mind, he accidentally became president in 2016. If Hillary Clinton could campaign, then there's no reason why she should have lost to that dude, despite the fact that the Democratic Party was in a bad position, despite the fact that Hillary Clinton really was never popular ever. She still should have won. So Donald Trump, as we remember, as you recall, when he was running back in 2015, he was going to start this big Trump network. So it was like a big PR stunt for him. And he could have been the ultimate what if. What if Donald Trump would have won? Look how good things could have been. But then he fucked around and stepped in it and became president. And then he ended up getting into all that trouble. And then he had to run for president again in this last go round just so that he could stay out of prison. He had 91 felony charges. He was convicted of 34 of them. I mean, like, so at the end of the day, there's just no Unless you genuinely believe that everything is a lie that's negative about Donald Trump, unless you genuinely believe that, then the writing has been on the wall about the fact that Donald Trump is a demagogue. But nonetheless, Nick Fuentes is going to continue to support him because Nick Fuentes is one of the biggest, standout racists in the country, perhaps the world, in terms of just what his brand and his platform's all about. But I just think it's funny whenever anybody's like, "Oh, this isn't what I voted for." Who would have thought? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? We've been watching this dude for too long for you to think that and say that. Hey now, thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it and really helps to support what we do here.